This is Morten from Inkish here on the 5th day at Drupa. And it's always wonderful to meet good old friends. And Chris, I met you over at the Canon booth a little bit earlier this morning, right?
Yep.
And I said to you, I want to talk to you because, I mean, you have exciting things here from Graphic Whizard, made predominantly in Canada, right?
Canada and the United States.
And the United States.
Yeah.
We're going to see a demo in just a few seconds, but before we talk about that, you had a few really exciting news that you wanted to talk to me about. And let's start with this one here.
Okay.
This is simply a cutting device for labels, right? Maybe you can just take it and show me and tell a little bit what we see here.
So from a 13-inch roll, roll to roll, we can do things like laminating over top of the roll before it's die cut. Then we have 8 individual rotary die cutting tools to cut out labels, pneumatically driven.
So are they built into the machine or something that you change manually? Or
built into the machine, and you can use 2 tools or you can use 8 tools. So for doing labels across, it's very versatile. So no need for, of course, there's rotary die cutting and then there's laser, but with the rotary die cutting tools for the drag knives are less expensive, very variable. QR code reads the QR code. We can do every foot. We can do a different cutting of a sheet, right? So then stripping this, we were cutting it into sheets because there's a sheeter built, but there's also slitters so that we can rewind.
So that basically means that
5 rows of labels.
and basically mean that for the owner of this technology, your customers, they can basically use the machine for turning output depending on what kind of applications their customers have.
Yes, absolutely. And this is our brand. So we co-brand with Synajet in the United States. So that's we have digital flatbed machines, wide format, and now label cutting machines. Yeah.
And that leads us directly into the next one, because Synajet, you also told me that they were doing this quite exciting things because you have a digital embellishment that you can do actually in line with some of the other processes that you see. Here, so you have the die cutter, and you call it digital die cutter, but it's still not tool-free, right? It's just the way it actually works.
That's right. It's digital in
mindset,
that,
right?
again, with a QR code, every sheet could be a different design, different cutting. So with our digital flatbed, automatic sheet feed, digital sizes, but up to 2840, and now actually up to 63 inches wide with automatic feed. So we're...
So how does it do it if it's having variable cuts?
So with converting a PDF die line to a DXF file, we will create the cut file, creasing file, printing file. So this has a UV print head on it, and that's doing spot UV. So maybe even sheets of business cards where they're round cornered, where it would be maybe too slow to doing that technology before, but now we could spot code it at the same time. It makes it more worthwhile. But you can see here a box with a UV spot code label, and then the creasing and the cutting. So we have multiple tools on our cutting head spot UV embellisher.
What I like about this is it also seems like it's very, very perfect registration.
It's very good registration because we're registering a sheet at 4 corners. Our cutting
so it is totally aligned when you put it into
absolutely. It has to be for our cutting.
Of course.
So again, for the printing, same thing.
And that makes sense because I mean, think normally you would see that as 2 different processes, right? But by having it in the die cutter, you basically get something that is really
so very good. Maybe not so good for 5 or 10,000 pieces,
but
for 50 or 1,000 pieces. One solution that's going to do everything, and this is doing it while you walk away and do something else. So it's autonomous.
Is that a market that is interesting that you address? Because I mean, I think that you have when we met at Printing United, you said that you were addressing, let's say, small to medium-sized companies. I guess that now even smaller companies can do packaging.
Right, or large companies that have maybe a high-con machine, and but they need a short run for. Mock-up or prototypes, or small companies that want to get into short-run packaging.
And I think that one of the mega trends that we see in the market is, of course, more and more SKUs, private labels, and I even think that when you look at local markets, sometimes cities, they have their own, let's say, soap maker or wine maker or beer maker. This must be ideal for this, right?
For craft, for small manufacturing, it's variable. A company with a Ricoh or Konica Minolta or Canon or Xerox, I think I put them all in there. Then you can do, you can do the printing and the box, the finishing, and you can brand somebody else with very few solutions.
And now you mentioned the printer, because one another thing that you're also showing here at Drupa, which is quite interesting, is as we spoke about, every time you have something where you need to have, let's say, a lot of cuts or creases or perforations, it's often relatively complex processes if you don't have the right technology for it. And here you have something where you basically put it online with a digital printer. Maybe you can just start it, Kevin?
So in cases where maybe you're running difficult stocks, like plastic materials, like snaps or something that are going to have static, we're handling the finishing one sheet at a time. But also for a larger run, finishing like greeting cards, table tents, postcards, business cards, then we integrate with printers, communicate with this box here. And it tells the machine, our slitter, here comes the sheet, be ready, and then it will finish. Now what we're doing here with this job, we're also doing 9-up coupons, and we're also doing perforating. So it's whether you're doing business cards, and of course we can add a conveyor out feed. We can put this in line not just with the box. We have an input sensor, so if you have other devices that we're not currently communicated with, when the sheet comes out, sees the sensor, the finisher turns on, can read a barcode, change over to the job, and run the job.
You see other similar technologies in the market. Where do this stand out?
So smaller, short run, because there are, machines in line that are much more, I guess, bigger footprint, more expensive. But for our niche market for Graphic Whizard is short to small to medium-sized printers. And this can be a very productive solution with a entry to mid-level print device in the finisher to do greeting cards all day long for 2 shifts. That's not a problem, but in a small footprint, which is very important in certain centers in America.
Congratulations on these new products. Before I let you go, because I know you're going home today, right?
Yes.
A few things. When you are here from Graphics Whizard North America, handling the USA and Canada, do you have a lot of interest from customers coming in, or is it mainly to see the technology and get to learn yourself?
For us, we have our Graphic Whizard numbering machine, finishing machine that we've been making for 38 years. So we have them here in the booth. But the market is much smaller now for our worldwide sales in that area.
But I was most thinking that when you exhibit here at Drupa, I was just wondering, do you get a potential American Canadian customers in and visit you and talk?
We certainly have, and we've had some very good interest.
Okay.
Mexico, United States, and Canada have been. So we also work with. So we only sell through distributors. So we've been working and meeting with our distributors here and showing them new products like we just talked about. But end user customers, their customers, showing them the new machines. So yes, it's great. We're here for new product development, to support our manufacturers, our factories, as well as to be able to show the products that are new to Americans and Canadians that are over here.
One of the reasons why I got to know you guys were because you're quite unique, because you're actually not just expecting people to come to the showroom. You bring your showroom out to people, right?
Yep.
That is pretty unique, right?
Yeah. Now we have 2 mobile showrooms in America, so we use those showrooms. We have 7 machines in those showrooms for doing demonstrations, training with new distributors, dealers. We go visit end users at their print shops, and drive up to their back door and do slitting, cutting, creasing, perfing, laminating, die cutting at their door. So at their door demos all across America.
Sounds like fantastic idea. I know it's very hard, and we should not give ideas to others, but I hope I will follow you one day.
Yes, we'll go on a road trip together.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I would love that.
Chris, thank you.
Yeah,
and
thank you,
safe trip back to Canada.
Thank you very much.